Good morning. My name is Hugo Sotelo-Gallardo. I am private consultant, and today I will talk about the influence of the density of mule deer in the predation by puma in a reintroduced population of bighorn sheep in Coahuila, Mexico. Early studies have found that the predation by puma on bighorn sheep is considered as a mortality factor that affects the population dynamics of the sheep, and the frequency of this predation are influenced by mule deer. This effect has led the bighorn sheep subspecies Sierrae and Crep novates in the category of endangered in Sierra Nevada and Peninsular Range, California, respectively, as well as the declaration of biologically extirpated population of bighorn sheep subspecies mexicana in Sierra San Andres, New Mexico. The hypothesis is that the puma abundance index is determined by the mule deer density, generating pressure of the bighorn sheep population. The objectives of this study are: number one, to evaluate the influence of mule deer density and the impact of puma predation on bighorn sheep released in Sierra del Carmen. Number two, to compare the ungulate rate of the predation by puma in a sympatric area. Methodology. Study area. Sierra del Carmen is located northwest of the state of Coahuila, Mexico. The north and northwest part of this area is limited by the Rio Grande vicinity with Big Bend National Park. The range elevation is from 16 feet on the Rio Grande to 8,900 feet over the sea in the highest peak of the mountain. Precipitation is present mainly in summer, that varies from 4 to 8 inches in the low hills up to 8 to 12 inches in the highest part. The average annual temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit and in the winter is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The plant communities present are the Chihuahua desert scrub, submontane scrub, grassland, and mountain forest that occur according to the altitudinal gradient. The founder group. In 2000, CEMEX began with the construction of high fence enclosure with an area of 12,000 acres free of predators in Pilares, Coahuila, and breeding 51 bighorn sheep brought from Sonora. In 2009, the Pilares breeding pen already had 250 individuals. The translocation were carried out in 3 different periods using the net gun technique from helicopter. In November 2009, 30 sheep, 10 males, 20 females, were captured from the Pilares enclosure. 19 females and 1 male were equipped with radio collars. In November 2012, 18 sheep, 7 males, 11 females were captured, and all females were released with radio collars. The last group in November 2014, 21 sheep, 11 males, 10 females, and 10 mule deer females. In this group were equipped with radio collars 2 males, 10 female sheep, and all mule deer. All individuals were blinded during driving to reduce capture stress. Once contained, took blood samples, inoculated antibiotics, antiparasitics, anti-inflammatories, vitamins, and reinforcement immune system, and identification hearings. Finally, individuals older than 3 years old fitted with radio collars telemetry model MOD 600 with 6-digit frequency VHF and mortality sensor for 4 hours of activation and receiving equipment TR4 telonics. Prior to release on wild, was built in a sub-release pen with high fence and double power line to prevent the entry of predators. The group was confined by 6 to 8 days, supplemented with water and alfalfa. Once in the wild, upon receiving signal mortality, the individual was located as soon as possible to investigate causes of death. Puma mortality was determined for the unique characteristics of this species in his attack, that includes drag and cover the prey with little sand, stones, or the same hair of the prey, as well as marks of deep fangs in neck or nape, extraction rumen, footprints, drops, markings on ground, and when it finished feeding the organs and meat, continues with ribs, bone of the head, and femur. The puma predation rate was calculated by means of micromorphs. This method is used for estimate survival rates and specific causes of death in animals with radio transmitters. To know the puma abundance, we used the power tracks technique. We established 6 transects from 3 to 5 kilometers within the home range of the sheep, and we recorded the number of tracks, drops, territorial marks, or prey of puma, as we can see on the screen. Annual counts we carry out in the months of January or February. The set of tracks we take into account assuming it is an individual, and the number of tracks per line kilometer was calculated to obtain the abundance relative index. The mule deer survey were conducted annually at night with the help of spotlight in 3 fixed transects, approximately 400 meters wide and 42 kilometers length, and the total of the number of mule deer was divided by the area of the transect. To know the Bighorn sheep density, the annual survey was calculated through physical counting, locating individuals by means of telemetry and direct observations. The total number of sheep observed was divided by the maximum home range. Analysis of data. Number 1. The variables of the puma relative abundance index, mule deer density, and puma predation on bighorn sheep was analyzed by using a multiple regression model with the help of the PAST statistical program to know its relationship between prey predators populations. Number 2, we compare of rate of depredation by puma in the ungulates released in 2014. We used a non-parametric Wilkinson test in the statistical program PAST. Results. Graphic number 1. The multiple regression model found a positive linearity that only represents the 34% of that relationship between the variables, but not significant. This result may be influenced by other factors such as drop of 2011, alternative prey, and/or migration for predation pressure. How we can see in the screen how the mule deer density increased year by year. Follow them after the drop of 2011, how the density of puma increased too. And the predation of sheep increased too, making an unsustainable relationship puma bighorn sheep. Although previous work considered mule deer as an influence of puma predation on bighorn sheep, in this study only explained 34% of the variation. And in particular, it makes sense because in Sierra del Carmen there is a wide variety and density of alternative prey such as Carmen mountain whitetail and peccary. The decline of Bighorn sheep populations does result in decrease of puma population due to increase of the density of mule deer and the ability to switch to alternative prey, which results in a unsustainable relationship puma-sheep. Result Graphic 2. Comparing the monthly predation by puma between mule deer and bighorn sheep, we found a significant difference. We can see from November to February, the rates almost are similar between the two species ungulate in the sympatric area. But the bighorn sheep was the most select prey by puma, how we can see in the graphic. Discussion: sympatric ungulate population and puma prey selection. Other authors suggest that the puma switches to alternative prey when its main prey decreases in abundance. However, in this study, the bighorn sheep is the most selected species and with the lowest density for 9 times, impacting on the establishment of the group. The anti-predator strategy of the bighorn sheep is more effective against accoursing than stalking. So the expansion of puma to the extirpation of the wolf has resulted in an ecological trap for the sheep, where the abrupt change induced by a human outweigh the time of the evolutionary adaptation of this species. Conclusion: based on these results, it is recommended to intensify the monitoring in the first 3 months of the release, since they are critical for the establishment of the group in the new territory. And the predation by puma can generate the early effect, affecting population dynamics, making the group susceptible to collapse from the early depression in growth rates, reducing the possibility of the establishment of the sheep populations. Predator control is recommended as a wildlife management tool to protect rare or threatened species. Before planning a translocation of bighorn sheep, the precipitation record must be taken into account and a supplementation program for critical times. The stress of capture plus the nutritional stress will limit the possibilities of establishing the group, considering that newly translocated sheep lose 19% of body mass compared to the resident sheep. Carry out relocation of group greater than 15 individuals and supplementing in periods equal to or less than 1 year with group of the same proportion to minimize the acclimatization period. Size: release a small group in areas of high predation activity. The sheep will be in high risk of predation. Bighorn sheep translocation are suggested in areas with low mule deer densities, less 1 deer per square kilometer. This could be provide a possible solution when selecting potential habitat for the future bighorn sheep translocation. Since the abundance of mule deer in mountain range is an attractor to pumas and can remain permanently in areas where the bighorn sheep are sympatric with mule deer in abundant densities. The future of the bighorn sheep in Coahuila will depend on of the new and forceful releases, intensive monitoring, research, a permanent environmental education program, prescribed burns, restoration of the Mexican wolf, puma control, in adherence to the local wildlife policies and regulations, and continue coordinate efforts between government agencies, private initiative, academic, and the public. Thank you all for your attention, and thanks to CEMEX for this initiative of conservancy and the support for this study. Thank you again.